Let us come to one new topic. Today's new topic of discussion is relational model constraints. So what are the different constraints that can be placed in our relational model along with that particular database in a relational model. Okay, so we will learn what are those constraints and what is the definition of constraint in our this class. See, whenever we place certain data in our database model, in our relation, then certain restrictions, before inserting those data, we need to place certain restrictions in our data which we are going to insert in the relation. Those restrictions on the particular values stored in a database based on certain requirement will be considered as constants. You might have studied the concept of resistance in physics, isn't it? Resistance is the opposition to the flow of electric charge. Suppose electric charges is flowing, then whenever we place any restriction in that flow, that will be considered as resistance. Similar to resistance, the concept of constant in there in case of a database model. So whenever we need to insert restriction on the value that is generally being stored in the database, according to our requirement, those restrictions will be explained, will be termed by one special name that is known as constant. So in our today's class, we are going to learn about different types of constraints that is there, that has to be applied whenever we are creating any relation in a database model. Okay. So for example, in the employee relation which we just discussed, the employee ID attribute must have a 4-digit number. If suppose the employer has placed one restriction, that is whenever a new joinee is going to join our organization, then he or she will be allotted a 4-digit number as employee ID, and it cannot be 5-digit, 6-digit, or it cannot be alphanumeric. Means that employee ID will be a unique 4-digit number. The date of birth must be such that, okay, so it should be 4-digit number, unique, and it should be unique. And apart from this, also the date of birth should be restricted. The date of birth should be put with a constraint in such a way that it should always be greater than 1985. Means the employee who is going to join in that particular organization should be having the date of birth after 1985. So these are the two restrictions which we place in our employee relation in the attribute values, that is employee ID and DOB. So such kind of restrictions when we place in our database in a relation, in a database relational model, in any of the relation in a relational model, those kind of restrictions are also known by another name, that is constraints. So remember, in simplest term, constraint means restriction placed on a particular attribute value in the database. Okay, so let us come to the next slide, which consists of different explanation of the different types of constraint that can be applied to our relation. Okay, so the first kind of constraint that can be applied in a relational model is also known by another name, that is domain constraint. Now domain constraint is what? See, I will simply read out the point first, after that I will go ahead and with the explanation. It specifies that the value of every attribute in each tuple must be from the domain of that attribute. Means whatever the attribute values we are inserting, those values should always be from the domain of that particular attribute. Okay, suppose we say in our previous example, employee ID should always be a 4-digit number, isn't it? A 4-digit number, and that 4-digit number is the data type of that particular attribute value, and that will be considered as the domain. So the value of every attribute in each tuple must be from the domain of that attribute. So whatever the values that we are inserting in our attribute section, whatever the values that we are inserting in our attribute, then value of those attributes in every tuple should be from that domain itself. It should not be outside of the domain. For example, here we have taken the employee ID attribute, correct? Employee ID attribute. Now the employer has simply placed a restriction, that is whenever a newcomer will be joining in the organization, he or she will be allotted a 4-digit unique employee ID which will be consisting of numbers only, correct? So employee ID attribute must be a 4-digit number. This is the restriction or the constant which he has placed. Hence a value such as 123, 12342 or A234 violates the domain constant. So see here, the first value 123 is a 3-digit number, correct? Then second value 12342 is a 5-digit number, and the fourth one consists of a set of alphabet and number in the employee ID. The first one is A and followed by 234 number, correct? So this kind of, here these three values are violating our constant that has been put in our attribute, correct? In our attribute, in our domain, whatever the attribute we have placed, and the value which we are inserting in that particular attribute is violating the domain constant. That is, the domain is that employee ID should be a 4-digit number. So these three are violating our domain, as a result of which first and second one does not contain 4 and the third one contains an alphabet. So this is simply violating our domain constant. Okay, so this is an example of domain constant. So domain constant in simplest term is whatever the attribute, whatever the value which we are inserting in our attribute, it should always be from the domain of that particular attribute. Say we need to insert only numbers, a 3-digit number, then we will place the restriction, that is data type. We have kept the restriction in the data type as only a 4-digit number or 3-digit number, then we should insert 4 or 3-digit number only, or else it will be violating our constant and it will show error whenever we are inserting our data in the database. So this is the concept of domain constant. Now let us come to the next. Key constants. So what is actually a key constant? This is one of the most important topics in a relational model. Whenever we are discussing any of the relational database management system and any of the relational model, then the concept of key constant carries a lot of importance. Okay. So in all, before discussing this key constant or key restrictions which has to be placed in our database, which has to be placed in our relation, we need to learn few terms before going ahead with the concept of key constant. So before going ahead with the key constraints, we need to learn few definitions, few terms. So what are those terms? Let us move. So what are those terms? There are 4 terms which we are going to discuss. Out of 4 terms I have discussed 3 because 2 are similar. That's why I have not taken one. The first concept which we are going to learn is super key. What could be the super key? What will be candidate key and what is primary key? Now let me tell you one more concept along with these key concepts. That is, a total of 8 types of keys are there in a relational model. Whenever we are going to discuss relational database management system, we should always remember that there are 8 types of keys, out of which up to this level, up to higher secondary level, if we simply learn these 3 to 4 types of keys, that is more than sufficient. Okay, so further we will discuss in our higher classes. So this before discussing the key constant, the 3 types of keys which we need to discuss, that is super key, candidate key, primary key. Now what is a super key? Let us see. See, I have shown you the definition. It is a set of attributes in a relation for which no two tuples in a relation state has the same combination of value. That means what? In order to write a super key, we need to take a set of attributes. Okay, we need to take a set of attributes in a relation. Suppose in a relation there are 5 attributes, then we need to take the attributes in such a way in group that no two tuples, no two rows should have the same value. Should have the same value means both the tuples should have atomic or indivisible values, and both should be different. Both should not get duplicated or replicated. Okay, so it is the set of attributes in a relation for which no two tuples in a relation state has the same combination of values. Means whenever we are taking set of attributes, whenever we are taking a group of attributes in a relation, we should consider them in such a way that the two tuples which we are going to insert, or two rows which we are going to insert in a relation state, those two rows should not have the same value, or the value should not be replicated, or value should not be duplicates. Every relation must have at least one super key. Every relation must have at least one super key which is a combination of all attributes in a relation. Now, apart from this is the definition. That means what? It is a set of attribute values for which no two tuples in a relation should have the same set of values. Okay, so we should design super key in such a way that we have to take the attribute value together, and whenever we are selecting those set of attributes, the attribute should be selected in such a way that the tuples which we are going to insert in our table, in our relational model, in our relation, those two tuples should be atomic, indivisible, or not duplicates. Okay, so every relation must have at least one super key which is a combination of all attributes in a relation. If we consider a single relation, correct? Now in our case, I have taken right from the very beginning, I am taking the concept of employee relation. So we will discuss the concept of super key with employee relation only. In an employee relation, what happens? Whenever we take all the attributes together, when we take all the attributes together in a relation, then all the attributes together can become a single super key. Okay, because see, if we take all attribute values together, then one attribute in a relation will be there for which the tuples might be having separate values, different values, correct? Means the tuples might not be duplicated everywhere. One attribute will be in such a way that it will differ in each and every tuple. So whatever the attribute values are there, if we take all those attributes together in a relation state, then it will be considered as a single super key. For example, in case of employee relation, different super keys I have selected. The first one is inside bracket name, employee ID, gender, salary, date of birth. This is the default super key. See, if we choose all those 5 fields together, if we go ahead and select all those 5 fields together or 5 attributes together, then while inserting any of the tuples, one tuple will be one attribute value will be there which will be different. Say a name can be same, employee ID cannot be same, gender can also be same, salary can be same, date of birth can be same, but employee ID, one attribute is there, see, employee ID, which will always be different in case of 2 or 3 tuples, correct? So this is the default super key which will be consisting of all the attributes. Super key is the main key, means as in case of sets, mathematics sets, you might have studied the concept of universal set. Universal set is the set inside which every other sets exist, correct? So similar to this, super key is a key inside which all other types of keys exist. So by default, whenever we take all the attributes of our relation, then that will be called as the default super key. Okay, now let us consider the second type of super key in our employee relation. See, if we go ahead and select 3 attributes, name, employee ID, date of birth. Now, name and date of birth can be same for a person. For two persons. Suppose we have inserted two tuples with name, employee ID and date of birth. Name and date of birth of both the tuples can be same, but employee ID will differ. Okay. Then third is name, employee ID, gender. Here also same concept is there. See, even if name and gender can be identical, but employee ID will always differ because each and every employee will be allotted a separate employee ID. Then D, last one is employee ID only. As I said earlier, if this attribute field, if a single attribute field is different, then that can be used to identify different tuples. For example, a set of attributes in a relation for which no two tuples has a same combination of value means whatever the tuples we are inserting in our relation, each and every tuple should be atomic, indivisible, indestructible, or non-replicating. Okay. So this is the concept of super key. Here, whatever the super keys of employee relation we have considered, we are getting one value that is common, EMP ID. Right? This EMP ID column or attribute or field will uniquely identify different tuples in a relation because each and every tuples will be having separate employee ID. Correct? So such kind of key is also known as super key. Super key is a set of attributes together in a relation in which no two tuples has the same set of values. Correct? So this is super key. Now let us come to the next one, that is candidate key. Actually candidate key, the concept of candidate key came from a specific key. Okay, a specific key. So what is the meaning of key or candidate key? Let us see. The minimal super key is called candidate key. Whenever we create the super key in such a way, when we design a super key in such a way that it consists of minimum number of attributes. Okay, it consists of minimum number of attributes. If a super key has been designed in such a way that consists of minimum number of attribute value, then that will be considered as candidate key. For example, in our previous super key example, let's see. See, this one is a super key consisting of 5 attributes or 5 fields. This one is a super key consisting of 3 attributes. This one is a super key consisting of 3 attributes. But while in the end, in D, fourth one, here we have a super key with only one attribute value only. Correct? Only one attribute value which is uniquely identifies a tuple in a relation. So that such kind of key which is a minimum super key is also known as candidate key. तो कैंडिडेट की क्या होता है, जब भी हम लोग सुपर की को इस तरह से डिजाइन करेंगे जिसमें कि मिनिमम नंबर ऑफ एट्रीब्यूट हो एकदम लेस, उसके बाद फर्दर जो है हम लोग ब्रेक नहीं कर सकते, उसके बाद हम लोग फर्दर उसको ब्रेक करने से हमारा सुपर की नहीं आएगा. सी व्हाट इज इट? इन अदर वर्ड्स, इट इज दैट सुपर की ऑफ a relation from which if any attribute is removed then it no longer remains a super key. That means what? Whenever we have chosen our key in such a way that if we go ahead and remove all the, if any attribute is being removed from that particular super key, then it does not remain as a super key. मतलब क्या, जब भी मैंने एक सुपर की ऐसा चूज किया जिसमें से मैंने एक भी एट्रीब्यूट वैल्यू चेंज करने से क्या हो रहा है, वो सुपर की मेरे पास सुपर की नहीं रह रहा है, वो सुपर की के पोजीशन से हट जा रहा है. देन दैट such type of super keys are also known as candidate key or simply key. Okay, तो यहाँ पे एग्जांपल मैंने लिया है. फॉर एग्जांपल द सुपर की नेम, एम्प्लॉय आईडी, जेंडर. दिस इज अ सुपर की because here see name and gender can be same but employee ID cannot be same. Correct? Now this is a super key, is not a candidate key. This is a super key, it is not a candidate key because here three attribute values are there, and even if we go ahead and remove some of the attributes, then also we will be left with a minimal super key. Correct? For example, see name, employee ID, gender is not a candidate key as we can remove name and gender from the combination. इसमें से हम लोग नेम और जेंडर अगर हटा देते हैं, if we remove name and gender in such situation also we will be left with a super key that is employee ID we will be left with a super key, that is employee ID, which is still a super key. Correct? Now this employee ID is still a super key even after removing the attribute name and gender. So such kind of super keys are not candidate key, which consists of 3 columns. If we go ahead now, here after removing name and gender column, after removing name and gender attributes, we are left with a single super key, super key with single attribute value, that is employee ID. So this is the candidate key. Why candidate key? Because if we go ahead and remove this employee ID attribute value also, in such situation our key will not remain anymore. Okay, it will be removed, it will be vanished. हमारा candidate key और super key का concept vanish हो जाएगा if we go ahead and remove this attribute also. So no more further removals are possible. So this is the minimal super key. Means from super key we have removed certain attributes or fields. Correct? After removing what we got, we have got a last attribute, and if we remove that last attribute also, then our key will no longer remains a key or a super key. Okay, so such kind of keys are called, such kind of super keys with minimum number of attribute value is also known as candidate key or generally key. Okay, key and candidate key both are used successively. Both are used together. Now one more example I have taken here. See, a relation may have more than one key. One relation can have more than one key, more than one candidate key or key. For example, let us take relation person with the schema as. Now we have taken a person relation with the relation schema as person. See, it consists of how many number of fields or attributes? First attribute is Aadhaar number, second one is PAN, Aadhaar, PAN, third one is voter ID number, fourth one is name, fifth one date of birth, and sixth one is address. So there are 6 attributes or 6 fields in our person relation. Correct? Now how many candidate keys are possible in our person relation? See, the first is Aadhaar number. Aadhaar number is also known by one more name, that is unique ID, UID. Correct? It will be allotted to each and every one which will be unique. The number which will be allotted to each and every person will be unique, and that is, if we remove all other attribute value and simply take Aadhaar number, then it will be a key. Correct? Similarly, PAN number, each and every person will be having a unique PAN ID, PAN number. Correct? Each and every person will be having a unique PAN number. And if we go ahead and remove all other columns, all other attributes, say Aadhaar, voter ID, name, BOP address, still we can identify a person, we can identify a tuple by means of PAN only. Correct? Because it is unique for each and everyone. Similarly, if we go to third attribute, that is voter ID number, each and every person in a country will be given a unique voter ID number based on which he or she will cast his valuable vote and choose his representative. Correct? Now this voter ID cannot be same for different person. This will also be a unique. So in our person, now if we go ahead and check name, see, name can be same, name cannot be unique. It can be unique or cannot be unique. Name can be identical. Date of birth can also be identical. Address can also be identical. But these 3 attributes, that is Aadhaar number, PAN and voter ID number, will always be unique. So in the above relation, there are 3 candidate keys. Namely, if we simply take Aadhaar number inside bracket, Aadhaar number attribute inside bracket, that will be one candidate key. Then voter ID inside bracket, that will be second candidate key, and PAN number third bracket, that will be another candidate key. Okay, as every individual in India will have a unique Aadhaar number, PAN and voter ID number. As I already explained, means each and every person, each and every citizen or of a state or a country will be having a unique Aadhaar number, voter ID and PAN. So these 3 attributes uniquely identifies a person, uniquely can identify a tuple, hence it is also known as, if we take all these minimal super keys, then they can be used to uniquely identify a tuple in a relation. Such kind of keys are also, super keys are also known as candidate key or simply key. Fine. Then apart from this, one most important type of key is there in a relational model. In a relation, one most important type of key is there, which is primary key. Now, the main purpose of primary key, each and every relation should be having one primary key. We need to declare one attribute as the primary key, and that will uniquely identify a tuple in a relation. See, all these keys are similar, but still differences, many differences are there which we need to learn. Okay, so this is one of the most important concept. It is generally being asked in the examination as well. What is the concept of primary key? Number as the primary, Aadhaar number as the primary key. And one more thing we should always remember, that is whenever we are choosing any primary key, that primary key should always be denoted by an underline below that particular attribute, below the name of that particular attribute. Here Aadhaar number has been chosen as the primary key, so below Aadhaar number we have underlined. Okay. Now the relationship between different types of keys can be denoted by a block diagram as, see, as in the case of universal set we have discussed in our 11th standard mathematics, similar to this, super key acts as the universal set of all the keys. Okay, inside super key, candidate key and primary keys will be there. Okay, see, this is a universal set. If we consider super key as a universal set, then inside that particular universal set we have got a candidate key column. Well, and inside candidate key, from that particular sets of candidate key only, we need to choose primary key. Okay, and keys and candidate key are somewhat similar to me. So this is the general description of how, or a general block diagram of how our keys are interlinked to each other. So for today, I would like to conclude my discussion. In our next class, that is tomorrow or day after tomorrow, I will be discussing few more keys, one more keys, a foreign key, and then 2-3 more constants on the data.